Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Descendant for the month of August. Hope you're all well. I'd like to say a big thank you to all the people who've jumped aboard the channel memberships that are now open. There's a join button underneath the video somewhere. And all the wonderful people who've come over to Patreon to support me there. The vote of support from you guys is immense and I'm quite humbled by it. Right? Thank you so very, very much. Means the world to me. So, Aquarius, let's see what's going on with you this month. So, can I have 3 cards for Aquarius, please? So the first card is the 9 of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups. I'm going to take these two together, actually. 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. Let's have a look at your current energy. We have, the World, interesting. And what's coming towards Aquarius, please? What's that? Ooh, 2 of Swords. This is interesting. Somebody else had that. Who was it? Virgo, I think, actually. So we've got the 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck and the 4 of Cups. That's interesting energy. Let's get some clarifiers before I say any more. I'm going to go with a standard Rider-Waite for that. So, let's have a look. Three of Swords again. Let's get one more. 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Cups. And the 2 of Swords. Right. Okay. If that's what I think it is, it fucking is. 4 of Cups. Aha. Alright. And the 8 of Pentacles. And then 2 of Swords, please. Ooh. I have the 6 of Wands. Take that one because it fell to the right. 2 of Swords, please. And the 6 of Cups, double 6s. I've got the 4 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, followed by the Queen of Pentacles. It's quite a spread of elements you've got this month, Aquarius. I'll just get another deck just to... we're going to go with that one. Right, so the very first card that you've got is 2 cards, in fact, and it is the 9 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups together. Now, I really like this combination. I think this is a really good combination. So I'm slightly flummoxed as to why it's clarified by the 3 of Swords, unless this is coming here off the back of here in some way. Right? And I think as I'm saying that, it feels like it's probably the likeliest of the interpretations. The 9 of Pentacles deals with self-sufficiency and independence. Right? This is somebody who can meet their own needs and does. Right? The bills are paid, you know, they're successful in what they do. There's a certain amount of material success that is implied by this, but there's an accompanying mental attitude with it. Because this sort of doesn't really happen by accident. There's an underlying drive behind it. And it's quite settled. It's quite comfortable. And we've got the Ace of Cups as well, which can be new love of someone or something or yourself, or a renewal thereof. I'm seeing it associated increasingly with forgiveness and compassion as well. And the combination of the 2 cards together just feel settled. There's just a real settled feeling in your recent past. This 3 of Swords and the 4 of Cups talks about heartbreak here and rejection here. Sometimes missed opportunities, but that doesn't really feel like it's appropriate here. It seems like you've gone through some stuff, whether that's, you know, a romantic relationship or whether that is, you know, work related potentially, because we've got quite a lot of Pentacles on the board. you know, and it doesn't have to be that kind of raging misery that comes after a breakup. It can just be a low level kind of displeasure, a general malaise, potentially. And as I've said that now seems to be where I'm going with this. It feels like a general malaise. The third card underneath there was the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of being, you know, dissatisfied with your status quo in some way. Yeah? So, although things are going well, and you've got plenty of, you know, care for yourself, something's occurred, some sort of rejection that's kind of wounded you a little bit. But it doesn't feel like you're getting too upset about it. Bothered, perhaps, a little bit, but it's not becoming all-consuming. Now, the Three of Swords is again underneath that, and then we've got the Two of Swords following it. There. It feels like you don't really quite know where to go with this. Like I said, everything feels settled. You know, all of the material stuff is kind of taken care of. You've got a decent sense of self-esteem, and you're certainly open to new possibilities. But it's almost like you can't quite work out which direction you're supposed to go in. Yeah, like the Three of Swords and Two of Swords, please. Got the Four of Pentacles. Maybe there's, yeah, because we've got the Four of Pentacles here too, with the Queen of Pentacles underneath that, and then the Ten of Swords underneath that. And that's more kind of difficult feelings. That's certainly what we would associate with the Ten of Swords. So there's a need to release something, but it feels like maybe you don't quite know what it is. And so you're kind of on a pause at the moment. It's almost like you don't feel like there are grounds to complain particularly about anything. And yet there's still this kind of gnawing feeling inside. And there's the Ace of Cups again. I mean, a possible interpretation, I'm just going to throw it out, and I don't feel like it's particularly relevant, but it might be for one or two of you, is that there was the start of a new relationship that kind of looked like it was going somewhere, and then it just went off the boil in some way, and you're kind of having difficulty releasing that, just sort of letting it go. But that feels less likely than the original interpretation that I'm going with, that there is this kind of low-level gnawing, this low-level malaise, something kind of eating away at you. And in some ways it seems to be holding you back a little bit. Like we've got so many repeating cards, it's absolutely ridiculous. We've got the Four of Pentacles twice, we've got the Three of Swords twice, we've got the Two of Swords twice, and we've got the Ace of Cups twice. Four of Cups as well is in the shadow there. In the shadow cards. So whilst you have a healthy sense of love for yourself, and you are self-sufficient and you're independent and all that kind of thing, there's no codependency here. There is something low level that's gnawing away at you a little bit that needs to be released in order that you might fully embrace yourself, forgive yourself, possibly. This is intriguing. So in your current energy, you've got the World card. Now that is an ending, it's a graduation, right? It's the very last card of the major arcana, and it depicts the four fixed signs of which you are one. So we've got Leo, Taurus, Aquarius and Scorpio here, right? Like I said, it's a graduation because you've made it right the way through the major arcana. You've finished up a cycle, and now you're getting ready to start on a new phase of something. And it certainly feels to be part of your kind of big life plan. This is intriguing. It's almost like you haven't quite let go of what it is that you've tied up here. So you don't quite feel like celebrating as much as you could do. And this is what needs to be released, right? The two cards that you've got underneath the world are the Four of Cups again and the Eight of Pentacles. Now, if we just skip straight to the Eight of Pentacles, that's about work, right? It's about putting the work into something so that you become a master at it in some way. So this entire reading could be something to do with your career, or it could be about a relationship that you have put some work into, you know, and that ultimately, you know, your work was rejected. And so we've got this ending. You can see it kind of going both ways. I have Four of Cups, please. Seven of Swords. With the Knight of Swords. So there's some sort of rejection here, which has led to an ending. But it's something that there's been, I feel like it's your deception, possibly. You've deceived yourself about something. And it's kind of like in the current energy, you've sort of realised the extent of what's gone on here. And there's a little bit of work to do on the feelings that you have surrounding this event. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles, please. Ten of Cups in reverse. With the Page of Wands. Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck, that's your ace. It's about clarity of thought, right? It can sometimes be about new ideas and new inspiration, but it feels like it's clarity of thought and expression here. There's a lot of swords coming out for you. There's a lot of mental energy going on with you. But like I said, in fact, there's only one wand card here, which is intriguing. Oh, and this page that I've just pulled out. It's very swords and cups with a smattering of pentacles thrown in. So quite a lot of this is cerebral, but it's tied up in your emotional state as well. And when I clarified the Eight of Pentacles, what I got was the Ten of Cups in reverse, right? This way around, it talks about total emotional fulfillment, really. It's kind of coming together with somebody else who is, you know, of a like mind on a similar page. And you come together and you build something beautiful between you, right? This way around, it's kind of like that's been taken away. This is the thing that's ended. Something that had the potential to have a great deal of emotional fulfillment, and certainly you perceived it as such, has ended. And you're having a bit of difficulty kind of working out how you feel about it. Certainly, like, it might have involved a Gemini, possibly. But it feels like there's been some sort of deception, and whether that's deception from somebody else that you didn't notice, or you did notice but you kind of explained away in your head, or whether you've been deluding yourself about something. You'll have to fill in the gaps for you. But then we've got this Page of Wands here, which I find to be, you know, a really good card. It's like the desire to move forwards is there and is strong. And you're trying to get on with it. You're trying to start again in lots of ways, but there's a little bit of stuff that it isn't tied up yet properly in the previous cycle, and so you're not embracing this ending as strongly as you could do. Now, when we move to what's coming towards you in August, what we've got here is the Two of Swords, which is, you know, the same card as down here, and that talks about kind of hitting a bit of an impasse, right? You've got a decision to make, just over as you did over here. But when I see this card, it feels like the decision that's being made, right? It's trying to make it on a purely intellectual basis. It's not consulting the water, you know, the emotion. It's not consulting the intuition. It's kind of willfully blinding themselves to it. And maybe for you, this is a good thing, actually, in the month of August, because we've got some difficult emotional energy over here, you know. There's definitely difficult emotions, and you are trying to do something, right? You're trying to find a direction to move in. to move away from these difficult emotions. But are you processing what has gone, or are you just trying to ignore it? Are you trying to just be purely, you know, cerebral about it? One more for the Two of Swords, please. Knight of Wands. Nine of Cups. Oh, this is interesting. This just took a really interesting turn. So we've got the Two of Swords, and I pulled two clarifiers initially, and they're sitting underneath, and they are the Six of Wands and the Six of Cups. But then I pulled two more, and I've got the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. And this is interesting for this reason, right? You've got two cards that indicate movement, and then you've got two cards that talk about emotional states, right? And the two cards, well, as they sit, right, on my table like that, they're like this, right? You notice that each of these horsebacked figures here, horsebacked figures on horseback, there we go, they're moving in opposite directions, right? And this is quite intriguing because this card here, the Nine of Cups, talks about you taking charge of your own emotional state, right? You making yourself happy, you lifting yourself up, right? Not relying on anybody else. And we've got the Knight of Wands, which is quite a passionate reaction, right? Passion here, this way. It's like, you know you should be going that way. But then we've got the Six of Wands and the Six of Cups here, which... The Six of Cups for me is about moving backwards. It's about the past, right? It can sometimes be about childhood, but it is the card of the past. Right? And this card talks about success this way. It feels a little bit like you're being pulled. You've got emotions that are pulling you one way or another. Like, part of your emotion is pulling you backwards to whatever this is, and part of your emotions, and it feels like maybe it's more your intellect is kind of pulling you this way as well. This is really intriguing. I want one more card to go over the top of these two. Can I have one more card? Yeah, there's the Knight of Swords. We've got the World at the bottom of the deck again. So, intellectually, you feel like you should be moving forwards and doing your own thing, right? Very independent. All the nines are about the self for me. But a bit of you is really wanting to go back and try again with this old thing here. This is really intriguing, Aquarius. I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and kind of pull this apart a little bit and see if we can't dig around and find out why you're feeling so tied to this situation and why you can't quite move away from it in the way that you really want to. Because this is interesting. I might actually end up doing a different, another reading for Aquarius, because this seems very specific. But we'll see what gives. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. If you're interested in the extended, come and join me over there. If not, no shade. I'll either see you in the second video that I do for Aquarius, or in about 10 days for the mid-month readings. All right, take care.